Paul Doyle, Dundalk. First off, obviously your most recent game, commiserations on the Cup quarter-final defeat to Waterford. How do you reflect on it as a game, as a performance, especially with what was at stake?
Obviously, it's very, very disappointing to be knocked out at the Cup quarter final. Thought in terms of the game, I thought we started okay, and obviously we went ahead. I thought we had control over the game for probably 20 or 30 minutes, and I think after they scored, probably knocked us back a little bit. And it's probably just the run of form that we're in at the minute, that kind of anything that can go your way or go against you went against us, and that. And look, we still have a lot to play for. It's not like it's not like you're at a club where there's nothing at stake. There's a lot at stake over the next few weeks, so it's about turning your attention to that and putting the past to bed, and moving on quickly, because big games coming up.
Yeah, you went off, I think it was around 39 minutes. What was the nature of the injury?
So it was previously out with a hamstring, and it's kind of just reoccurred again. So not ideal heading into the last few games, but yeah, hopefully we can get back on the rehab train and have something to say before the end of the season. So.
And before that, like you mentioned that, or you mentioned obviously that you started well, and part of that I think that you didn't actually mention, like you scored what was a great goal. Obviously there's a bit more to it, but your reflections on that, because it was a great shot to begin with, and then there was a bit of a saga before it actually gets into the net.
Yeah, it was obviously a bit of a strange one. Keeper probably gets a little bit unlucky because he's made a decent save, but to be honest with you, it's not any consolation now. We're out the cup, and that was the most important thing, to try to get through to a semi-final. But listen, I think as a new squad, and that we're probably going to have to go through some tough times before we have a bit of success. It's probably a rarity where anybody puts a squad together and they just have immediate success. And hopefully in 12 months' time, when we're in a similar situation, that we'll reflect on these last few weeks and be able to gain some sort of strength from it, and have that edge, come next season.
Yeah, and I mean, when we were doing previews at the start of the season, there was a sort of unknown quantity about Dundalk this year, just with all the changes and where the club had been at previous to this season. Within the the planning for this season, what was the messaging from Stephen O'Donnell? Were there kind of targets set? Did you have a kind of clear idea of what you wanted to achieve this season?
I don't really think it wasn't a thing of this is the target and this has to be it. I think it was more about establishing a bit of a culture and identity as a club again. And obviously I can't speak for what had went on last year or any other year, but Stephen's come in and he's just wanted to get a group together, establish proper order around the place, and get standards of training and things that you do outside of football, get them to a high level. And I think we've went a long way to kind of achieving that for now, and it was more so about taking it game by game, and get to a position where if you're a neutral showing up at a Dundalk game, or if you're an opposition team showing up at a Dundalk game, that you know what you're going to get from us. And I think we went a long way to establishing that, and then from there it's about building on that and seeing where we can bring it to, and hopefully have success.
As you said, there was a period in the season where you were in really good form, and you were actually getting closer to Shamrock Rovers in terms of pushing them before the recent run of form. But what were the factors that were working for you at the time as a team?
It's hard to put a finger on, really. I think it's probably easier to pick out at what might have went wrong for us over the last few weeks. And I think we got injuries to people at important stages, which definitely hasn't helped. And with the nature of our squad, we have a tight squad. We have a small squad. You're kind of probably relying on people staying fit and healthy, and that's probably went a little bit against us in the last probably 4 or 5 weeks. But I think with us being a new group, and that you're probably always going to get a blip in the road somewhere, and unfortunately it's at the moment for us. But as I said earlier, it's time to put that to bed now and really focus on the last 6 games.
In terms of the injuries, Patrick Hoban has been one, of course. That's been a kind of a missing piece for the last few weeks. But losing Mark Connolly as well, who's obviously gone up to Derry City, like how significant has that been for you? Because he was brilliant at the back for you during the period he was there.
Yeah, listen, Mark's a really good player and a good centre back, definitely. But I think we have ample cover for Mark, and there was a couple of games earlier in the season when Mark didn't play and we kept clean sheets. I can think of 2 games that we played against Finn Harps home and away where we won 3-0 and 1-0, and we were excellent at the back in that. And I don't think it's as big a factor, to be honest. Like as you say, I think we've got really good options at centre half and that, and like even after Mark left, I think we had a couple of games where we kept clean sheets and we look solid, and I don't think that's been a huge factor. I think if you look to more of Pat and Daniel Kelly being injured, I think that's something that's hurt us for sure. Just in terms of options, even from the bench or to start or whatever, I think that's probably been a big thing. But yeah.
Yeah, as you said, like the focus now will be on trying to finish the season strongly. In a way, like it's again, you want to win the cup and do well in it where possible. But is it sort of a blessing in disguise in a way that you can just focus fully now on these final games and just making sure you stay in that top 3?
No, it's not. It's not. Like there's no getting away from it. You want to win. You're in a cup. You want to win it, and I don't think it's. I wouldn't say it's a good thing that you're knocked out of the cup at all. It's never a good thing. But as I said, we're not in a position where you get knocked out of the cup on Friday night and then your last 6 games that there's nothing to play for, or you're in mid-table and it's kind of the season peters out. That's not what we have, and you have to try to take the positives from everything. And the positive we can take from that is that we have a hell of a lot to play for, and we need to look forward to the next 6 games. I think it's 4 games at home where we've been really good this season, and we need to, maximise points from that and make sure that come the season's end that we're in Europe.
All right. Well, thanks very much for speaking to me anyway, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks.